What if Earth had already been destroyed? What if our civilization was just another cycle on a planet that resets its history after every catastrophe? Today, we'll explore the signs that Earth has already faced the end and been reborn. Earth is over 4.5 billion years old, but human history occupies only the final seconds of the cosmic clock. Everything that came before is a mystery. The layers of Earth's crust hide entire eras, buried, forgotten. Eras that might hold the secrets of past civilizations. Why is there so little record of our prehistory? Could this absence of evidence be proof of cyclical destructions that wiped everything out? Around the world, there are ancient myths about submerged or buried cities, Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu. But what if they aren't just myths? Submerged structures like those in Yonaguni, Japan, seem far too architectural to be natural. What if they are the remains of a civilization that existed before ours? A civilization destroyed by natural forces or its own self-destruction? Perhaps the pyramids aren't the oldest, just the ones that survived. Even major mass extinctions have already occurred, wiping almost all life off the map. After each destruction, Earth reset, slowly and silently. One of the greatest, the Permian-Triassic event, wiped out over 90% of species. The cause? A global volcanic hell. Now imagine if, during one of these events, intelligent life existed. It would be completely erased, its cities, machines, and memories turned to ash or absorbed by magma. Our planet's surface bears deep scars from cosmic collisions. The Chicxulub crater, responsible for the dinosaurs' extinction, is 180 kilometers wide. But even older craters exist, nearly invisible after millions of years of erosion. What if some of these impacts erased entire eras of civilization? Over time, nature covered the wreckage, and the records turned to stone or dust. The planet was reborn, but the past was buried. Sea levels have varied drastically throughout Earth's history. During ice ages, they dropped by hundreds of meters. In other times, they covered vast continental areas. What was built in those regions? What if entire civilizations were swallowed by tsunamis, tectonic shifts, or sudden sea rise? There are reports of submerged temples in India and mysterious structures in the Caribbean. Perhaps our ancestors once lived where there is only water today. Our genetic code carries marks of billions of years of evolution. But part of this DNA is a mystery. These are known as non-coding regions or junk DNA. However, some theories suggest these sequences might hold information from earlier eras, from organisms long extinct, maybe even intelligent lineages that once walked the Earth and were erased by natural resets. In this sense, DNA would be the last guardian of the past. The human fossil record is flawed. There are mysterious gaps, entire periods where it's unclear how Homo sapiens emerged with such advantages. Additionally, there are fossilized footprints, tools, and even skeletons millions of years old that challenge accepted scientific timelines. Some discoveries are ignored or reclassified. What if these pieces of evidence pointed to a humanity that came before ours? An ancient cycle that collapsed, and was replaced by another. There are objects that seem out of place for the era in which they were found. Perfectly shaped metal spheres billions of years old. A screw embedded in stone dated millions of years ago. A hammer fused into ancient rock. Are they hoaxes? Natural coincidences? Or traces of a forgotten civilization, buried by time and silence? If real, these artifacts are evidence that our history may be far from the first. Ancient texts like the Mahabharata from India describe wars with weapons that resemble atomic bombs. Cities burned until the stones melted, blinding explosions, fire raining from the sky. Are these merely spiritual metaphors? Or real records of a war so ancient it was reinterpreted as myth? Perhaps the gods were humans from a past era, with advanced technology, and the same tendency toward destruction. A civilization that annihilated itself. there are ticking time bombs beneath our feet. Supervolcanoes like Yellowstone in the United States or Toba in Indonesia have caused destruction on a continental scale. Toba's eruption 74,000 years ago may have reduced humanity to just a few thousand individuals. Now imagine if, before that, there was an organized civilization. It could have vanished without a trace. What other similar catastrophes may have wiped out entire societies? There is evidence that Earth was once completely covered in ice, during an era called Snowball Earth. The entire surface frozen. Life nearly extinct. When the ice melted, the planet was reborn, and history began again. But what if a civilization existed before this icy age? Nothing would remain. Only ice, silence, and forgetting. Earth froze its memories, and when it awoke, it was as if everything had started over from scratch. Sacred texts and ancient manuscripts mention cyclical destructions. The Book of Enoch speaks of celestial beings who taught mankind science and weapons, leading to humanity's collapse. Cultures from different continents speak of floods, cosmic wars, and lost cities. Why are there so many similar stories in such distant places? Perhaps they are not legends, but fragments of a history that has already repeated itself, each time with new names and faces. Mars once had oceans, a dense atmosphere, and possibly life. Venus may have been habitable before becoming a hellish world. What if these planets were once like Earth, and were destroyed? Perhaps the solar system is the stage for a cruel cycle, the rise and fall of civilizations. And Earth? It might just be another piece in this cosmic game, destined to repeat the same end. The signs are everywhere. But we choose to ignore them. After all, it's more comforting to think we're unique. Nature is made of cycles: birth, growth, collapse, rebirth. What if civilization follows the same pattern? Maybe humanity has flourished many times before. But pride, war, and climate imbalance always brought the end. And so, everything begins again. We are not the starting point. We are the echo of stories that have already repeated themselves. And what we call the end of the world might just be another chapter in this eternal cycle. Have you ever felt like something is out of place? An inexplicable déjà vu? Dreams of strange worlds, ancient technologies, cities you've never seen. Maybe these fragments are collective memories, remnants etched into human consciousness. They're not just personal recollections. They're echoes of an Earth that has lived and died countless times. And we're just the next rehearsal. Ready to repeat the same mistakes. The universe is bigger than we can comprehend. And its mysteries are only beginning. Every day, a new video awaits you here. If you're drawn to the unknown, then you're in the right place. Subscribe, and keep exploring the dark side of the cosmos with us.